Earlier this year, I turned 40, and I found myself in the worst shape of my life. Statistics tell us that as we hit middle age, which I'm oddly at, our metabolism slows down, our muscle mass decreases, and we're more prone to health issues. But just because these changes are common doesn't make them inevitable or easy to accept. I never thought of myself as an athlete, let alone a runner. In fact, the thought of running was not my definition of fun at all. My entire life revolves around tech. I'm deeply passionate about it, but that passion meant long hours at the computer and little time prioritizing my health. I felt sluggish, my energy was low, and I was super stressed. Research shows that regular exercise improves mood by releasing endorphins. And knowing that, though, didn't necessarily mean I knew how to change my habits. So one day, I made the decision that surprised even me. I signed up for a half marathon. It was ambitious, even crazy, considering I haven't ever been a runner. I didn't know anything about distance running, let alone half marathons. But I craved a goal to focus on, a purpose to help me break out of my routine and give me something to train for. The first few weeks of training were brutal. I huffed, I puffed, and more than once I questioned my decision. But I also noticed something surprising. I was starting to feel better. I've seen the studies that show that exercise boosts energy levels by increasing cardiovascular efficiency and oxygen flow to the muscles. And I was living proof. My energy improved, my mood lifted, and I started to feel lighter physically and emotionally. Having a clear purpose made every mile more bearable, maybe even enjoyable. Slowly, I was transforming into someone who could, with time, call themselves a runner. Months of training later, the big day finally arrived. My first 5K in my 40s. But it wasn't just any 5K. It was a Halloween 5K. Not only was I going to run, but I was going to do it in a costume. The nerves hit hard that morning as I pinned on my race bib, wondering if I was really prepared. According to studies, the average beginner takes about 40 to 50 minutes to complete a 5K, and I trained hard to just finish, not worried about the time. The atmosphere was buzzing at the starting line. Runners dressed as superheroes, ghosts, zombies, all sharing the same energy of anticipation. I felt the chill of the autumn air, smelled the fallen leaves, and heard the chatter around me. Around a crowd of people, I actually felt very alone. I settled into my pace, focusing on the rhythm of my steps. The first mile was great. My body was moving in sync, and I actually enjoyed it. But by the second mile, the challenge set in. I could feel the strain on my legs, my breath getting heavier, and that little voice in my head asking if I could really make it. Around mile 2, the costumes I saw at the starting line were now blending into a blur around me as fatigue set in. But I was determined to keep going. My mind wandered to the journey that had brought me here. The early morning runs, the soreness, the doubt. I remembered reading that the key to distance running isn't just physical strength, but mental resilience. I reminded myself that my body was capable, that each step was one closer to the finish line. As I neared the last half mile, I could see the finish line in the distance. The crowd was cheering, and something inside me pushed harder. I picked up my pace, ignoring the burning in my legs and my lungs. This was my moment, the culmination of all those doubts, the early morning runs, and the resolve I didn't know I had. I had crossed the finish line with a time of 41 minutes, not a record for anyone but myself, but an improvement from my original 17-minute mile pace at the very beginning, now down to 13-minute miles. It was proof of progress I never thought I could have achieved. Crossing that finish line wasn't just about completing a 5K. It was a milestone in a journey towards becoming a healthier, more energized version of myself. I was living proof that setting a purpose can drive us to achieve things we never thought possible. My performance may not have been impressive to others, but to me, it was a huge victory. After the race, I took some time to reflect. I realized that for me, it's not about becoming the fastest runner or having the best time. It's about challenging myself to be better than I was yesterday. Exercise is no longer just a chore. It's a way to reconnect with myself, to feel stronger, and to stay motivated. The question now is, what's next? Maybe the half marathon I originally signed up for? I'm not sure. But what I do know is this journey has taught me that no matter how intimidating a challenge seems, with the right purpose and a bit of resilience, the impossible starts to feel achievable. I remember reading online this phrase that has stuck with me: your race is your pace. And I'm just beginning to understand what that means.